Have you ever noticed that some people in their 70s can still swim for a long time? Slowly, gently, not because they're stronger than you, but because they breathe correctly. If you're watching this video, chances are you've felt something very familiar. After just a few laps, your heart starts racing, your breathing becomes shallow, and one thought crosses your mind. I'm getting old. Maybe I just can't swim anymore. But here's the truth. Most people over 60 don't get tired because of swimming. They get tired because they're breathing the wrong way. Today, I'm not here to teach you how to swim faster or use perfect athletic technique. I just want to share something very simple with you. When you breathe correctly, you can swim longer, feel lighter, and be much safer in the water. Before we go any further, leave a comment below and tell me, how long can you usually swim before you start feeling out of breath? I read every comment. Why do people over 60 get out of breath so easily when swimming? There's something very important that few people clearly explain when we reach our 60s. That is, our bodies don't weaken in the way we think they do. We can still walk, garden, climb stairs slowly. But once we get into the water, after just a few minutes, our breathing feels chaotic. Why? It's not because your arms are weak. It's not because your legs are slow. It's because the way you breathe on land is not the way you should breathe in water. When we were younger, our lungs were more elastic. Whether we breathed shallow or deep, our bodies could manage. But according to medical research in the US, after age 60, lung capacity gradually decreases, respiratory muscles weaken, and the heart becomes more sensitive to oxygen shortage. That means if you breathe incorrectly, your body reacts very quickly, with shortness of breath, palpitations, even anxiety. And what's the worst part? When we feel out of breath, we start to panic. When we panic, we breathe faster. When we breathe faster, oxygen drops even more. And within just a few laps, joy turns into fear. I've met many older adults in the US who told me, "My doctor told me to swim, but every time I get into the pool, I feel scared." They're not afraid of the water. They're afraid of losing control of their own breathing. The most common breathing mistakes. Almost everyone makes them. Let me tell you a very familiar story. There's a man around 68 years old living in California. He swims breaststroke very slowly, very carefully. But every time he puts his face in the water, he holds his breath. He told me, "I've done it this way since I was young." And that's exactly the problem. Holding your breath while swimming, especially after 60, is like gripping your breath tightly while your heart is still forced to work. Oxygen doesn't come in, carbon dioxide doesn't go out, and the heart starts to complain. Another very common mistake is breathing only through the mouth, very shallowly. The breath rises only to the chest, never down to the belly. You feel like you're breathing a lot, but your body still doesn't get enough oxygen. And then there's another mistake that sounds small but has a big impact: trying to swim continuously without allowing breathing to have a resting rhythm. At this age, the body doesn't like being forced. It needs rhythm. It needs steadiness. And breathing is the conductor that guides the entire body when you're in the water. An important truth: swimming doesn't tire you. Breathing wrong does. I want you to remember this sentence clearly. You are not tired because you swim. You are tired because you breathe incorrectly. Studies on therapeutic swimming for older adults in the US have shown that when breathing rhythm is corrected, swimming time can double, while heart rate becomes more stable. It sounds contradictory, but it makes perfect sense. When you breathe correctly, your heart doesn't have to overwork. When the heart feels lighter, the whole body follows. At that point, swimming is no longer heavy exercise. It becomes a form of meditation in water. The first golden rule: exhale long, inhale quickly. This is the most important rule. On land, we're used to inhaling long and exhaling short. But in water, it's the opposite. When your face is in the water, exhale slowly, evenly, gently. Don't rush. Don't force it. Imagine you're fogging up a piece of glass. When you turn your head or lift your face, Inhale quickly, just enough. You don't need to fill your lungs completely, just enough to feel comfortable. It sounds simple, but this principle prevents old air from getting trapped in your lungs. Carbon dioxide is pushed out, making room for fresh oxygen. Many people over 60 have told me, just changing this breathing pattern made me feel noticeably less tired. The second golden rule, breathe with your belly, not your chest. If there's one breathing skill you should relearn at this age, it's belly breathing. Chest breathing is the breathing of tension. Belly breathing is the breathing of relaxation. When you inhale, your belly gently expands. When you exhale, it softens and falls. This allows the diaphragm to work efficiently, drawing in more oxygen with less effort. Respiratory specialists in the US often recommend belly breathing for older adults to reduce strain on the heart, and swimming is the ideal place to practice it. When you breathe with your belly in the water, something interesting happens. The water seems to support you more. Your body relaxes. Your movements become softer. The third golden rule, find a rhythm, don't rush. In our 20s, we swim to conquer. In our 60s, we swim to live in harmony with our bodies. Each arm movement, each kick, should follow a familiar breathing rhythm. You don't need to count, just feel. If today you feel slower than yesterday, that's okay. If today you only swim half the pool and then rest, that's okay too. At this age, your body doesn't need pressure. It just needs you to listen. Dryland breathing practice, a step you should never skip. Many people only think about breathing once they're already in the pool. But for those over 60, preparation on land matters even more. Every day, or at least before swimming, set aside 5 minutes. Sit up straight. Place one hand on your belly. Inhale slowly for 2 seconds. Exhale slowly for 4 seconds. No need to close your eyes. No need to make it complicated. Just feel your belly move. This practice helps retrain your nervous system to recognize proper breathing. Once you're in the water, your body will naturally apply it. Practicing in the water, no pressure, no fear of mistakes. When you enter the pool, don't rush to swim right away. Hold on to the pool edge. Put your face in the water. Exhale slowly. Lift your head. Inhale gently. Repeat this a few times. You'll feel your heart rate settle. Your body will get used to the water, then start swimming slowly, very slowly. No one is grading you. Safety reminders. Things people over 60 should never ignore. At this age, swimming isn't just exercise. It's healthcare. If you feel tired, dizzy, or notice irregular heartbeats, stop. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. Swim in shallow areas. Always warm up properly. And most importantly, don't compare yourself to others. Every body has its own rhythm. Respecting that rhythm is how we live longer and live better. In the end, what allows you to swim longer isn't muscle strength, but your ability to befriend your own breathing in every moment underwater. When you breathe correctly, the water is no longer a challenge. It becomes support. Swimming then is no longer training, but a quiet, peaceful time to care for yourself. Something deeply valuable at this stage of life. You don't need to become younger to swim better. You only need to understand your body better. If you value gentle, thoughtful conversations about health for adults over 60, subscribe to Vital Health Hub. Together, we'll live more slowly, but more healthfully every day.